Police were called on a group of retirees who refused to leave Senator Dianne Feinstein's West Los Angeles office until she talked to them about health care reform. Los Angeles Police Sergeant Rich Brunson said Thursday police lured the group of 7 outside, got them out somehow, then 7 people, 7 seasoned citizens, and then locked the building's doors behind them. Brunson had said earlier that 8 people were being taken into custody, but corrected himself after getting new details from officers on the scene. A spokeswoman for the 55 to 87-year-old activists said they arrived at Feinstein's office around noon and remained in her conference room more than 6 hours. Feinstein spokesman Gil Duran says staff offered the retirees an in-person meeting with the senator during an L.A. visit next week, but they demanded to speak with her immediately. All this about health care. Now, folks, if this is happening in Los Angeles, even before these senators and congressmen get home, I'm telling you, hot August days and nights are ahead for all members of Congress. Now, on the health care bill, the vote has been, as you know, delayed until the fall when they come back, sometime September or October. And this incident, call the cops on your constituents. 7 people between the age of 55 and 87. You call the cops to get them out of your office. You lock your office door behind them. It's a Democrat senator, Dianne Feinstein. These are the people, by the way, if you get the so-called seasoned citizens alarmed and outraged, these people aren't going to know what hit them. And they are already on the way. So this can be stopped. This vote can be, this can be defeated depending on how much opposition and how, there is to this and how much members of Congress and the Senate hear about it while they're home. And I won't be, many of them are probably going to take junkets out of the country and leave their staff to deal with it. They'll take junk vacations. They'll call them official junkets to learn about the mating habits, the Australian rabbit bat, or some other important thing happening around the world to avoid this. But they're going to hear about it, whether they hear about it personally or not. And they are going to be casting a vote that in their minds is going to be largely determinant on whether they win re-election. Not all of them, and some of them are in safe, commie-lib districts, but not all of them, especially the Blue Dogs. So this is Politico.com. I mean, this is an illustration of this. Screaming constituents, protesters dragged out by the cops, congressmen fearful for their safety. Welcome to the new town hall-style meeting, the once staid, boring forum that's rapidly turning into a house of horrors for members of Congress. On the eve of the August recess, members are reporting meetings that have gone terribly awry, marked by angry sign-carrying mobs. Mobs, they're calling them. And these mobs are engaging in disruptive behavior. In at least one case, a congressman has stopped holding town hall events because the situation's spiraled so far out of control. Tim Bishop, Democrat, New York. I had felt they'd be pointless. There's no point in meeting with my constituents and listen to them and have them listen to you if what's basically an unruly mob prevents you from having an intelligent conversation. Oh, so the way all of you people who care enough to show up at a town hall meeting hosted by your congressman, you're just an unruly mob, out of control. That'll be why they don't do these. Well, these people have been turned into mobs. Talk radio. And Limbaugh, they turned them into mobs. You can't even have an intelligent discussion out there. And if these congressmen refuse to have their town meetings and get the word out that they don't want to do it because the voters are unhinged and just an unruly mob, they're going to pay for this in spades. So here's Politico doing their best to spin this for members of Congress. Make voters look like they're just unruly mobs. They're unhinged. This is dangerous because it overlooks the fact that when the voters ask intelligent questions that the politicians cannot or will not answer with truth, they are then called wild mobs that need to be ignored. Tim Bishop, well, it'd be pointless. Unruly mob can't have an intelligent conversation. Translation, I don't want to deal with the fact these people know how I'm trying to trick them. I don't want to deal with my constituents who know I'm trying to sell them down the river. I don't want to deal with my constituents who actually know what I'm doing and what I'm going to vote for. So I'm going to call them an unruly mob and say that they're unhinged and unintelligent and makes no sense for me to talk to them. So I think either way, they have the meeting or they don't, the meetings or they don't, they lose.